Today I'm going to be talking about the brand new Spongebob episode called Pat the Horse. I haven't really talked about some of the more recent episodes because nothing was too special about them, but this one in particular was just extremely unusual. Here's the synopsis of Pat the Horse. In this episode, Patrick wants to be a horse. So right away that sounds honestly really stupid. First, it's an episode centered on Patrick, which usually doesn't do too well, and the plot of Patrick wanting to be a horse is just extremely stupid. Those were my first impressions when I saw this description and the episode title. However, when I watched it, it turned out pretty different than what I had imagined in the first place. Okay, first up, I want to give props to whoever thought of this. That's pretty good. Okay, so as the episode goes on, we see Patrick acting like a horse. SpongeBob is really confused at this idea, but then he eventually embraces it. And then SpongeBob rides Pat Horse. That's kind of weird, but whatever. Anyway, the plot progresses in this episode extremely fast. Some modern SpongeBob episodes have been slow to average paced, but this one, after the slightly slow beginning, everything just moves by really quickly. It jumps from one plot point to the next, And yes, this can be a very bad thing in some cases. However, with this specific episode, I think it was done right. Because, I mean, who wants to watch a slow episode about Patrick becoming a horse? The fact that everything was so fast-paced, that means the viewer would not get bored. They want to keep watching and see what happens next with Patrick being the horse, even though it is a pretty ridiculous plot.
Get it out, Patrick! Looking good, Miss Sandy.
Thank you. And the horse you rode in on?
Morning, old-timer.
Now, to be completely honest, most of the episode I would call slightly above average. It's nothing too incredible in my book, but it's definitely not a bad episode at all. However, I think the one part about Pat the Horse that is above average and it's actually pretty entertaining is the race segment towards the end. Mr. Krabs rides Squidward as a horse, and then SpongeBob rides Patrick as a horse. I never thought I'd be saying that sentence out loud. But anyway, they have this big race. There's a lot of visual gags and it works really well. I know at first glance when you see this, you're gonna think, oh, well, that's really stupid. Why is this even a thing? But if you look at it with an open mind, you'll be somewhat entertained, probably more than the average modern SpongeBob episode. Also, continuing off the humor in the race, honestly, the jokes in the entire episode are mostly hits. Some of them actually do feel like they'd come straight out of a pre-movie episode, and that's what I think a lot of people want to see. Many people want SpongeBob to return to its former glory, and while I don't think that's the case here, they're definitely getting closer and closer, and Pat the Horse is a good example of that.
My little leg!
All right, next up.
I think this entire plot is something that we could have seen in the terrible SpongeBob era of season 6 to 8. That was home to some of the dumbest episodes of all time, and Patrick trying to be a horse does sound pretty ridiculous. But the fact that this is in the most recent era, the one with various old SpongeBob crew members working on the show again, as well as an influence from Steven Hillenburg, that means that this plot was just done so much better than it would have been if it was in the garbage era. So in the end, Pat the Horse is incredibly unusual. It's not like the typical SpongeBob episode you see, especially in the last few seasons, but the jokes were pretty good. The story went by really fast, so it was hard to get bored. And even though I believe the first half of the episode is only slightly above average, I do think the race segment was awesome to watch in the final half, and I'd probably watch the episode for that alone because of how creative it was. Don't go into this episode expecting it to be just a stupid thing with Patrick trying to be a horse. There's way more to it, and this is just another step in the right direction for modern SpongeBob.
Have some slippery mustache.
But anyway, that's all for this video. Subscribe for more awesome cartoon videos. Give a thumbs up and comment below to let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.